Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Joseph Wells, and I'm the Chief Deputy here at the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce a few other folks that are here with me this afternoon, and then I'm going to work to try to give you as much detail as possible on the recent dog attack here in Putnam County. So beginning on my immediate right, I have Mr. Bill Pickens. Mr. Pickens is the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners here in Putnam County, along with Mr. Terry Suggs. He's our County Administrator, and Ms. Julianne Young, she is our Deputy County Administrator. I'm joined by them today because animal control is under the purview of Putnam County, and part of what's going to be part of the briefing here today is our working relationship with how we handle these cases jointly with the county and the amazing partnership that we have working with our partners over at Putnam County. So, as you are all aware, at 12:54 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, our deputies were dispatched to what was an apparent animal attack in the Interlochen Lake Estates area of Putnam County. Our deputies arrived approximately 8 minutes later and observed the victim, who was still in the street with heavy trauma at that time. Our deputies provided first aid care to the victim, and to include the application of 3 tourniquets and other measures they could to control bleeding until the victim could be transported by rescue. The lady was transported by rescue, Putnam County Emergency Services, to Putnam Community Medical Center. While en route to the medical center, she went into cardiac arrest. Our paramedics were able to revive her and continued the trip to Putnam Community Medical Center, where she was later transferred to Shands UF Trauma Center in Gainesville. So from there, the deputy sheriffs began their investigation on scene. Our major crimes unit, part of our criminal investigations bureau, is immediately activated in these cases because of the nature of the injury, and they have since picked up the investigation from there. The investigation is very active at this point. We are in frequent communications with the state attorney's office as we explore our options as far as possible criminal cases as this case continues. They are in the process of gathering the physical evidence they need, interviewing witnesses, and doing all the normal things that come along with any death investigation. The animals had already been secured back in the property of the owner upon our arrival, so the scene was safe at that time. Several neighbors, including the owners of the animals, had responded to the lady's call for assistance and immediately went into the street to help. One of the neighbors even brought his firearm along and fired several shots into the air, into the ground, in an attempt to disrupt the attack. That was unsuccessful, and it was the neighbors and the owner that were able to physically remove the dogs from the victim. Unfortunately, the victim did pass away at approximately 7:30 p.m. last night at Shands UF Health. And with that, the investigation now takes a little bit of a different turn. The animals are secure with Putnam County Animal Control, and they will be euthanized. We are working closely with Animal Control to time the euthanization of the animals to where we can gather additional physical evidence from the animals, but they will be euthanized. So basically, the investigation is ongoing. We have experienced this type of investigation in Putnam County before. We have reviewed that investigation to get information and lessons learned from that one back in 2011, and we're doing a lot of the same things we did then, and that includes, like I say, very close relationship with the state's attorney's office as we move forward. Because this is a death investigation, it does now fall to the state attorney's office homicide investigative unit as we explore possible criminal charges. I'll be happy to answer some questions as we move forward. I do want to allow Chairman Pickens an opportunity to speak. I will tell you ahead of time, though, that we have asked our partners with the county to not give specific details of the investigation at this point, because it is a criminal investigation and we do need to preserve the integrity of that investigation. Chairman Pickens, I'll turn it over to you for a minute, sir.
Thank you, Colonel Wells. On behalf of the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners and our administration, Administrator Suggs, Deputy County Administrator Julianne Young, send out our heartfelt condolences, and our prayers are with the family for this tragic accident. And as Colonel Wells said, that's all the comments that I'll make, is because there will be an active investigation. So, like I said, heartfelt condolences to the family.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll attempt to answer some questions again. We will treat this like any other criminal investigation and have to be somewhat limited on the answers we can provide at this point. As you can imagine, these investigations are complex. They take a lot of time, and with a lot of investigation, a lot of interviews that will go behind them. And to ensure a successful prosecution, if that's the route that is eventually decided upon, I just want to be cautious of that. So with that being said, go ahead, Sarah.
Are you able to release the name of the victim?
Yes, and we did. We sent a release on the name of the victim. The victim is Pamela Jane Rock, 61 years old, of Melrose. And as you know, she was a rural postal carrier for the United States Postal Service. Our Major Crimes Bureau detectives have spoken to the postmaster and the Postal Service, and they are cooperating with us and in this investigation as well.
How many dogs were involved again?
It's believed to be 5 at this time.
Is that
And
the
what-
many are in custody?
Yes.
And what kind of dogs are they? Can you say that?
I don't, they're mixed breed. Again, I don't know the exact breed of them.
Pit
But
bull by any chance? No?
I can't confirm that.
Okay, do we know how they got out in the first place?
Yeah, it initially appears in the initial investigation that they were able to move some rocks that the bottom of the fence was lined with in order to keep them secured. In one of the witness interviews, I will tell you that one of the neighbors stated that, the dogs had been well secured for a period of time and, didn't suspect anything like this until they heard the lady screaming. So they were in a fenced yard, but were able to escape that fence.
And neighbors say these dogs have histories of attacking neighbors. Are you guys aware of this? Have you heard of that? We're talking with witnesses.
We have had animal control and sheriff's office responses to this neighborhood before. We have talked to those witnesses, and we are working to confirm that these are dogs that are one and the same. We believe that there have been other calls for service regarding these dogs, and we're reviewing those calls right now with our animal control partners to see the nature of those.
So neighbors told me that animal control has been out there previously to try to take these dogs into custody, but they weren't able to because they were so aggressive. Is that anything you can confirm?
No, I cannot confirm that. I will tell you that through our previous engagements with animal control and working with them, I have never seen a case where the dog was too aggressive that animal control couldn't get them into custody. So that does not, that part is not accurate. We would have assisted them with that. They have the necessary means to put an animal to sleep on the scene in order to take them in custody. They're well equipped to deal with aggressive animals. If there's going to be a confirmed account that animal control has dealt with these animals before and they were not removed, it would not be because they were too aggressive. That doesn't exist.
And what usually happens in these type of investigations? I know you mentioned that it's complex. So what usually happens? Does the owner usually get charged? I know that you mentioned that dogs are going to get euthanized, but what happens with the owner?
It's possible. I mentioned that in our previous case in 2011, that was the case where the owners were charged. It'll just depend upon the evidence that our detectives are able to gather through the interviews, through the physical evidence, and through consultation with the state attorney's office, whether or not the state attorney's office believes that we've met a burden of proof for negligence against the owner, and then that decision will be made. We are working it as if that will be the case to make sure we gather everything we need should that become the case, and that only time will tell. And like I say, it could be a period of time.
It's my understanding that there was a puppy that was also in that home. That is what I was told. I didn't know if that puppy has been rehomed or if you can confirm if there was also a puppy.
As far as our response and investigation of this case, only 5 adult dogs have been seized. I'm not aware of any puppy being involved in this case.
Can you release the identity of the owner? Are they cooperating?
Yes, it's my understanding that the owner has been cooperating, that we have spoken to him. He cooperated with the deputy sheriffs upon their initial arrival that afternoon. I don't have the owner's information at hand. If you will just follow up with us on a request on that, then we'll consult with my major crimes detectives and see if that's something we're able to do at this point.
What kind of charges do you think they might be facing?
In these cases, in my previous experience with these cases, the charges, there's a specific Florida statute that deals with someone that that doesn't exercise due caution when it comes to an animal that they know or should have known could have posed a danger. And they're misdemeanor charges. Has been the history of this. These animals have not been deemed dangerous to this point through any previous interactions. So it will just depend, but that's the nature of the charges and what we saw in our previous case.
Where the dogs were they breeding? Was this a kind of a place where they had a lot of dogs and they were breeding and selling them dogs, or they were just
I've received no information in the investigative updates that I've received multiple times since we initiated this, that this is either a breeding operation or a dog for sale operation. There's no evidence to suggest that at this point.
Putnam County Animal Control is often known for being very crowded and that there's a lot of dogs there. But it was my understanding that Putnam County was a no-kill shelter. Why have they decided to be euthanized now?
There's Florida statute revolving animals that are involved in the death of a human being. So they will be operating under those Florida statutes. Putnam County Animal Control, not unlike any other animal control facility, does meet challenges when it comes to population, and that is partly because of their dedication to be a no-kill shelter. But in cases like this, statute is clear, and animal control has no options. Okay.
And
All right.
so just to clarify,
Sure.
you said you believe animal control has been called down there before for these dogs. You're just not 100% those are the dogs.
The Sheriff's Office and Animal Control have responded to this neighborhood for animal calls in the past several times. So it's just now to confirm with the investigation that these are one and the same dogs. How long have these dogs been at this residence and all of that type of stuff. So that will come out. That is one of our primary focuses. And then, of course, as we go back and review those previous calls, what our responses were in those calls and what Animal Control's responses were. But both agencies have responded to this neighborhood before for dogs.
Do you know how many times and over what period of time?
I do. There have been, in the past 3 years, there's been a total of 4 responses to this neighborhood for animal-related calls. And we are, like I said, doing the investigation now to confirm if they are related to this address. Early indications are that at least 2 of those previous calls were related to the same address, but not confirmed the same dogs.
And those are responses with the Sheriff's Office in conjunction with Animal Control?
That's correct. The records I'm giving you with the 4 for the 3 years were Sheriff's Office responses. And then Animal Control has partnered with us in those responses. Have they had additional responses? That's something our detectives are looking into now. But generally speaking, in cases with vicious dogs, if that's the case, we respond in unison as a team. All good? Okay. Sarah, everybody good? All right. Thank you, guys. We'll try to do the best we can to keep you updated, and of course, any questions that you think of once we leave here, please just forward them to us, and we'll do the best we can to get the answers to you. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Pickens, Chairman? Okay. Thank you all.